Hello and welcome back to Pete's Model Car Customs. I'm here with a brief update on the Ford Torino Cobra fastback thingies, eliminators, Talladegas. They're not eliminators, are they? On the windows, as I was running out of battery yesterday and stopped that video, and it was getting a bit long, so I've stopped and adapted the windows. And if you can see the blue one, you can see they're in. And there's also a couple of other things I noticed. They're minor details, but they're of interest to, well, somebody, I hope. On the, I hope you can read this really. There's turn signal indicators are mounted in the back of the scoop, in the two sort of cutaway sections that are in the sort of back of there. There's two small indicators telling you that your right or left hand blinker is on. Now that is a neat little detail hidden away in the back of the scoop. That was the one, and there was a panel line, and it's for the rocker panels. There is a horizontal line missing from the bodies that runs from the bottom of the door horizontally to the wheel arch, and that's not on the kit. Trevor pointed out the front one, there's a curved line down there, but there's another one going from the bottom of the door backwards in a horizontal, which I've etched in to mine down there, from there to there, as well as that one in there, and the gutter ones, scuttle in there. I've actually opened up my gutter ones. I got not this knife obviously, but I was able to feed a knife blade into there and open up the gutter drip rail along there and down there. Finished off my repair on the A pillar, so then got that down there too, squares it all off. So windows, I think that was it on the other stuff. Yeah, Trevor's got a nice side view of a white, on one of his videos there's a white car that shows up the panel line quite well. Get them out of the way. Like I said, windows. I've had a look, cut these out for the new INT round 2 release. And although you've got a lot of spare glass, top and bottom, if you're building out of the box and just want to modge them in, they're quite a nice fit into the actual, if you'll excuse me while I flip for a minute. But you, oh, come on. I think that one of them possibly fouls the interior bucket, the front windscreen. There's a lot of, I wonder if I can hold them like that. Just do them one at a time. You get quite a nice fit up and around, you know, into everywhere. But this area down the bottom there, I'm not sure whether that interferes with the interior. On the rear one, I've marked everything back out there again. There's more of a curve on one end than the other, and I'm taking that as the bottom edge and centering it to the crease in the trunk lid and finding where it's the most comfortable fit, and that isn't bad all the way around, but it does leave you with a lot of well, modge-podgeable area on the inside. I don't know how much light is going to show through, but there's a good 1/4 of an inch there. If you turn it over, they fall out. Mine are held in. If I take the floor pan back off, but just before I do, well no I won't, I'll mention that when I put it back together. Right, so on my one I've trimmed them down substantially, and like I said, I've got them so as they're fitted in. I've trimmed about, because I repaired this front A pillar, I've got reinforcing bars up there and up there, so I cut on the inside of the A arms, A pillars. So I had to trim down either side of the screen anyway to allow that in. But it does give me a snug sort of fit, because I've got a gap in between the original pillar and the slight bit of my reinforcing bar. And that's what this snaps into. So I'll just get that into there. It's locked back in already. So there's no glue holding that in, though when I come to build the model I will. It's just held in there and there. On the back one, I've put in a strip along near the roof there and along that area, because I'm keeping clear of that black line there is the trunk lid line, and the stock part goes further than that. So I've cut that back to give me a lip of about a 1/16 or 1.5 mil instead of the 1/4 inch it did have. And yet again, that strip there and the one in the corner and that corner are what's snugly holding that in place. Right, so there's no glue again on that windscreen, it's fitted. If I just show you how much there, that's the trimming of the rear screen down to my size, and this is the trimmed down front screen. I've marked on there the wiper pattern that I'll want for dirty wiper marks. There must be a mirror, so I'm starting to think about where that's going to go, and sun visors. I might cut these areas out to locate my sun visors, I don't know yet. That's as time marches on. There is another, I noticed with the pins and pinholes on the bottom there, going back to an earlier subject, and the pins and the pinholes on this one. When I pin this body back in, this is an early release, or whatever it was, the normal ANT type box. Get that bag out of the way. That one. Plastic bag. Where I cleaned up for my water bag, I can bring that in, which was the infill there. I can see a white piece of plastic, white line of the inner arch. Now that, as you can see, is both pins are in there, and I can see that arch on the bottom of that arch. On the newer one, they've changed the pin size. They look slightly thicker, and if I can get that in, I'm looking over the back of Beyond to try and do this. I've got some wheels that won't fit, but I have found that there's that on my older one, on there, you don't get to see it either side, so they've aligned that across a little bit, and this needs moving across a little bit. So if you've got the earlier one, there is just needs to come over a little bit more with your pins in the centre, and both that inner fender and this inner fender will line back up with the chassis, but that pin twangs into place and knocks that aside. It's slightly offline up there. That's it. Windows alignment, air filters. Just before I go, there's a couple of times I meant to mention these. This one's the one from the box, the chrome one, that Trevor was detailing and saying put an O-ring on it. This one is much better detailed and is from a 68 Mustang by Revell. And this one again is AMT but from their 69 Cougar. I've seen a photograph of this somewhere, and it's much more realistic, and the shape of this is better to the real car, but it seems much bigger than this one. I haven't yet measured them yet, especially when you've got this further O-ring to go on it, and there's an insertable flap. That hole shouldn't really be there. So there's interesting things with the differences on the CJ air filters. Anyway, bye for now. Hope you're all well. Best wishes from jolly old England. Bye.